Hello and welcome, my favorite movement enthusiasts. Did you know that there is a direct correlation between hip mobility, hip strength, and longevity? Well, yes, there is, which is why today we will be working on our hip mobility and hip strength in one to give us a better chance to not only get older, but to also have a better quality of life once we are old. So if you are ready, we'll get into it right now. Now, of course, we'll be starting with the easiest exercises first and slowly build up intensity. So if you are a beginner, you can start with the first exercise right here. If you are more advanced, you can move up a little bit and use the more advanced exercises, of course. So for this one, all we need to do is move into a lunge position, like so. We're basically just pushing our pelvis forward and try and bring it parallel to the front side. So you're not compensating for a lack of mobility by turning your hip. Instead, try and turn it inwards. We're going to hold this stretch in our hip flexors, lower abdominals, and quadriceps, depending, of course, on where you are more or less flexible, for 20 to 30 seconds max. And then we're going to relax the same muscles we have been stretching before moving into the same position again and push forward as much as we can. And the great thing about this exercise is we can increase the intensity really easily. We're just going to bring one hand down just so we don't fall over. We're going to use the other hand to grab our foot and pull it closer to our leg. This is going to move the stretch from our hip flexors down to our quadriceps. So we can switch it up between hip flexors and then down to our quadriceps and then release, relax, and repeat the whole process again. 1, hip flexors. 2, move it further down to your quadriceps, relax, and sit back. Now, I would be doing you guys a disservice if we talked about hip mobility and hip flexibility without getting into the pigeon pose. You have probably seen it before. All we need to do is basically from a lunge position, we want to put the leg down sideways to the ground and push our pelvis actively down towards the ground by flexing our glutes and our spinal erectors. First of all, we're getting a nice little stretch in our gluteus, in the outside and inside of our thighs. We have a nice little internal rotation in our knee, and the more we move sideways, we can increase and decrease those stretches, as well as strengthening our glutes and our lower spinal musculature by actively pushing down. Hold 10, 20, 30 seconds, and then you can relax it by just sitting down sideways. 10, 15 seconds of relaxation, and then actively push your pelvis down. Now, of course, there are multiple levels for this exercise as well, which we're going to check out. So if we are using the left leg in the front, we're going to take our right arm, put it down here so we can bring our shoulder and our arm down fully, which is going to increase the stretch we have in our glutes and in our thighs. And we're going to open up here for some additional lumbar and spinal mobility, because you have to keep in mind, our hips are not closed systems. So everything that is somehow connected to our hip flexors is gonna need to be stretched and strengthened. That goes for our glutes, that goes for our lumbar spinal musculature, that goes for our quads down here, it even goes for external and internal knee mobility, because all of that is going to help us with our hips eventually. So now that we have stretched out and limbered up a little bit, we can move on to the next level of exercises, which is going to go more into the strengthening part in connection with the mobility part. So all you're going to need is some kind of elevation, and we're going to start out with our leg, just like before, in an internal rotation in the knee or an external rotation in our hip. This is already going to give most of you a nice little stretch in your glutes and outside of your thighs as well. Now, we have one knee on the ground. You can use your hands for balance if you want to. I would recommend, however, to try and do that just with your legs. All we want to do is extend the leg and bring our knee down. Extend side leg and bring our knee down. And you can clearly see which muscles we are using to push up. So we are flexing our biceps femoris, we're flexing our glutes, we're pushing forward, we're getting a nice little stretch also on the other side of the hip flexor. We are working a little bit on our ankle mobility towards the other side, so stretching our tibialis and the front side of our foot. Pushing forward, holding, flexing all of this up to our lower back, and then relaxing it again. Flex, push forward, and relax again. You can also keep your hands behind your back just so they're not in the way and you don't feel tempted to compensate for a lack of balance or lack of strength by helping yourself out like so. Now the next one is going to be even more advanced, and I recommend you master the last couple of exercises we did before this one so you can move into this exercise without getting hurt and without having too many problems. We're going to start out in the same exact position, but instead of just extending one leg, we want to extend both legs. So the elevated one as well as the one on the ground, which means that we need to move in and out again. Move in and out again, strengthening the insides of our thighs by pulling ourselves up, strengthening the backside, the posterior chain once again by pushing up and combining all of this into one single movement. Once again, hands behind your back if you want to. Extend and back, extend and back. And we will move this even further, a level up, by not only standing up, but pushing away and rolling over our foot, which means that now we need to bring our knee down here and then our leg down sideways. Pull it up, extend, stand up, knee down, leg outwards. So level number 2 here, up and up, down and down. And level number 3 here, up and roll over your foot, extend, knee down, foot down, and repeat. Up, up, down, down. Our final perspective change here, we're gonna stand this leg up, we're gonna extend this one, and down again, and the next level, once more, stand up, roll back over your foot, extend the front leg, and bring them all down again. Extend, push up, and bring them down. Extend, push up, and bring them down. Which brings us to our final or our finisher exercise, and this one is going to be amazing for our core strength and stability because once again our core is connected to our hips, and keeping our core strong and stable will be very important in keeping our hip health up here instead of down here. So we're going to sit down, legs tight. You can bring your hands together at the front, and now we're going to extend our leg backwards, do a complete rotation, use our leg strength by flexing the biceps femoris to pull in our leg as far as we can. You're gonna feel it in your hips, and you're gonna need to keep that core really tight so you stay upright and don't fall over. And then we are gonna bring the leg back and pull it in and repeat the whole process on the other side. Complete rotation with extended leg and move it back all the way before pulling it in. Now you need to keep in mind that this is going to depend a lot on your mobility, meaning if you do not have the mobility in your hip flexors to push your extended leg backwards, it is totally fine to open sideways first and move into the rotation before you pull it in. However, over time, your range of motion is going to increase, and by then you will be very much able to extend backwards and increase this rotation much further without needing any help. Switch it up from one side, extend, rotate, pull in, flex, flex, stay upright, rotate backwards, switch to the other leg, pull in, and done. Now, this is of course not part of the training per se, but I end all, and I mean literally all of my workout routines with a passive hang, a couple of rounds. So maybe with both hands to just decompress every single joint in our body. We're starting at our hands, moving down to our elbows, our rotator cuff, relaxing our scapula, having it pulled up all the way, which is gonna also stretch out our lat, decompressing our lumbar spine and even our hips and knees. You can hold on for a couple of seconds. You can even do the one-sided one so you get more pull downwards, and that's basically a very awesome finisher to get rid of some leftover tension from the workout we just had. But now you have all the tools to work on your hip mobility, to not only keep them healthy, but to also advance all your other types of training. So if you're doing lifting, if you're doing calisthenics, if you're running and doing a lot of cardio, all of this is going to help you advance your practice even more, even though you're not directly working on them. But sadly, all the time I have left for you today. If you like the video and subscribe, because there are new videos every single day on this challenge. With that said, Captain Cairo, peace out.